Ever wondered who'd win in a divine race between Mercury and Hermes? These legendary speedsters weren't just quick messengers. They were cosmic powerhouses who shaped ancient culture. Let's sprint through history to settle this godly competition once and for all. Let's dive into the birth stories of these divine speedsters. Hermes burst onto the scene in Greek mythology as the son of Zeus and Maia, born in a mountain cave. And this little guy was quite the prodigy. Legend has it that he invented the lyre and stole Apollo's cattle all on his first day of life. Talk about an overachiever. Meanwhile, in Roman mythology, Mercury's origin story is a bit different. As the son of Jupiter and Maia, yes, same name, different goddess, he was considered a major god from the start. The Romans actually borrowed heavily from Hermes when creating Mercury's character, but they gave him a more dignified entrance into the world. No cattle-stealing shenanigans for this divine messenger. He was all business from day one. Now, let's talk about these gods' famous accessories, their cosmic fashion statements that weren't just for show. The winged sandals, or talaria, were basically the ancient world's ultimate running shoes. These magical kicks gave both Mercury and Hermes their legendary speed, letting them zip between heaven and earth faster than you can say express delivery. But their most recognizable tool was the caduceus, that cool staff with two snakes wrapped around it. Picture it as their divine business card, marking them as official messengers of the gods. While Hermes got his from Apollo in exchange for that stolen cattle we mentioned earlier, Mercury's caduceus became a symbol of commerce and negotiation. These weren't just fancy props. They were powerful tools that helped these divine messengers handle everything from guiding souls to brokering peace deals. In Roman society, Mercury wasn't just delivering messages. He was the ultimate multitasking god. As the patron of commerce, he watched over every merchant making deals in the bustling Roman markets. Traders would whisper prayers to Mercury before important transactions, hoping he'd bless them with profitable ventures. But here's where it gets interesting. Mercury also had a reputation as the clever problem solver of the Roman pantheon. He was the god merchants trusted to protect them on dangerous trading routes, the divine accountant keeping the books balanced, and even the smooth-talking negotiator who could charm anyone into a deal. The Romans built temples to Mercury near their marketplaces, and his festival, the Mercuralia, was a huge celebration where merchants would sprinkle their businesses with sacred water for good luck. Now, let's talk about Hermes, the original divine speedster with a mischievous twist. While Mercury was all business, Hermes had a playful side that made him a favorite in Greek mythology. This quick-witted god wasn't just fast on his feet, he was fast with his words too. From the moment he was born, Hermes showed he was different by stealing Apollo's sacred cattle and talking his way out of trouble with a charm that would make any lawyer jealous. He was the ultimate divine prankster, using his speed and smarts to pull off some legendary stunts. But don't let his trickster reputation fool you. Hermes was also incredibly reliable when it came to his godly duties. He guided souls to the underworld, protected travelers, and even helped heroes like Perseus on their quests. The Greeks saw him as the perfect blend of clever and capable, a god who could outsmart anyone while racing across the heavens. Let's race through some of the most incredible speed feats these divine messengers ever pulled off. Hermes once chased down Iris, Zeus's other messenger, in an epic sprint across the Mediterranean, leaving rainbow trails in his wake. He was so fast that he could deliver messages to all 12 major Olympian gods in the time it takes us to tie our shoes. Mercury wasn't one to be outdone. He famously raced against the winds themselves, winning by such a margin that the Roman poets said he moved faster than thought. One of his most impressive feats was circling the entire Roman Empire 3 times in a single day, checking on every merchant under his protection. Both gods were known for their ability to travel between the mortal world and the underworld in mere seconds, a journey that would take regular souls days to complete. Let's explore one of the most fascinating roles these swift deities shared, being psychopomps or guides of souls to the afterlife. Think of them as divine Uber drivers for departed spirits. Both Mercury and Hermes had the crucial job of escorting souls from the world of the living to their final destination. Hermes would gently guide spirits down to the river Styx, using his caduceus to ensure safe passage through the tricky terrain of the underworld. Mercury handled things with a bit more formality, maintaining strict schedules for soul transport and keeping detailed records of each journey. They both showed incredible compassion in this role, making sure no spirit got lost in the transition. These gods understood that death could be scary, so they used their friendly personalities to comfort souls on their final journey. It's pretty amazing how these messenger gods balance their busy delivery schedules with such an important spiritual responsibility. The artistic legacy of Mercury and Hermes is absolutely fascinating. These speedy gods inspired some of the most dynamic artwork in ancient times. Artists loved capturing Mercury's swift movements in bronze statues, showing him balanced on one foot, about to zoom off on another delivery. Meanwhile, Hermes appeared on countless Greek vases, usually depicted mid-stride with his winged sandals fluttering. Both gods became symbols of motion and grace in sculpture. You'll find them in museums worldwide, eternally frozen in graceful poses that somehow still convey incredible speed. Their symbols became artistic shorthand too. The caduceus showed up everywhere, from temple friezes to merchant signboards. What's really cool is how their images evolved, from formal religious art to more playful, human-like depictions that showed their personalities. These artistic interpretations helped shape how people imagined divine speed and grace for centuries to come. You might be surprised how much Mercury and Hermes still influence our world today. That medical symbol you see on ambulances, that's actually Mercury's caduceus. And when you send a text message, you're using technology named after Hermes. We call it hermeneutics when we interpret messages. These speedy gods have left their mark on everything from flower delivery services named Mercury to the famous FTD logo with Mercury's winged foot. The postal services of several countries still use their images, and let's not forget about that planet zipping around the sun. Even in pop culture, these divine messengers keep popping up in movies, books, and games, usually portrayed as quick-thinking characters who can get themselves out of any jam. Their legacy teaches us that speed, communication, and a bit of clever thinking never go out of style. But Mercury and Hermes weren't the only speed demons in ancient mythology. Let's meet some other divine sprinters who could give them a run for their money. In Norse mythology, Thor's chariot-pulling goats could race across the sky, creating thunder with their hooves. The Hindu god Vayu, master of the wind, was said to be faster than thought itself. And don't forget about Iris, the rainbow goddess, who could match Hermes stride for stride. The ancient world was full of stories about divine races too. One famous tale tells of Atalanta, who challenged her suitors to outrun her. Talk about speed dating. Even the sun god Helios got in on the action, racing his chariot across the sky every day. These myths show us that ancient cultures worldwide were fascinated by the idea of supernatural speed and its connection to divine power. So, who was really the fastest divine messenger? While both gods were incredibly swift, the evidence points to Hermes having a slight edge in pure speed. His early feats, like stealing Apollo's cattle as a newborn and creating the lyre in a single day, show unmatched agility. Plus, Greek myths detail more specific examples of his incredible velocity, like circling Mount Olympus in seconds. Mercury was definitely no slowpoke, but his speed seemed more focused on efficiency and reliability rather than raw acceleration. Think of it this way. Hermes was like a sports car, built for pure speed and thrills, while Mercury was more like a high-end delivery van, fast but focused on getting the job done right. Of course, both gods were so quick that any race between them would have been too fast for mortal eyes to follow. Thanks for racing through this divine speed competition with us. Whether you're Team Mercury or Team Hermes, both gods left an incredible legacy. Don't forget to sprint to that like button, subscribe for more mythological matchups, and share with your fellow history fans.